welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your co-host, RJ the Balanced Blue, joined by my fellow co-host, champion mate, Scott Taguna, Rob the Red Devil, back in the house. Boys, how you feeling? Robbie, I'll go to you first, legend.
Yeah, look, another one of those days, boys. But look, always get excited to see your beautiful faces and everyone in the chat. So let's talk football.
That's why we love you, Robbie. And Scott, you look like you got a fresh cut, mate, or am I mistaken?
No, yeah, fresh cut, fresh kit, fresh points. Everything's fresh, man, in the doghouse today. So ready to go. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, doing well, man. 3 wins on the bounce in all competitions. Also got a fresh haircut, you probably can't tell. And you know what? I feel like steaming, really beaming, but enough of me on a personal level. We've got lots to unpack. Huge results across the league. Touch a little bit on the Champions League, round of 16 knockouts, and who goes ahead based on the quarterfinals that remain. And just really reflecting on some of the key headlines that have bubbled over the past few days since we last touched base. So without further ado, boys.
That's in. Look, before we kick in, evening to Shane. Yes, Newcastle 2-1 winners. I'll bet they're glad to be back in that winners circle. It had been a little bit concerning for them. We've got Borche here from the football capital, my man. We're doing well. Borche and I, we had a little bit of how do we say this? We had a bit of couples therapy in a separate stream. So go back on the channel. We cleared the air. We talked Glazers. We talked Manchester United. We talked rivalry. We talked love. It was just a great stream. So make sure you go back and check that. Concierge. Look, mate, there was nothing to review because I heard PSG are going to appeal because they actually played with one less player. They had a ghost playing up front. Amazing what happens when Emi Martinez isn't there to carry him, mate. RJ, any words on the Casper the Friendly Goat?
Oh, mate, I tell you what. I love the relentless consistency of Concierge. He will die on a hill for Jorginho. Chelsea's reduced to one and only. And Ronaldo. The guy is playing in a worse league than my son at the moment, and yet he still has the height to comment on Messi and PSG and the rest of the squad. But I love it. That's why we love Concierge. He's a baller.
That's right. Look, the table at the moment, boys, I just want to share this because we'll have a little bit of a chat about where things are lining up on this table. Then we can get into specific results. Obviously, Arsenal top of the league, 5 points clear of City, same games played. Seem to have broken away a little bit. But in saying that, United win their game in hand. They're 53 points, 8 away from City, a fair few more away from us. So United looking good in that top 4 battle at this point. Spurs, no bloody idea how. Mm-hmm. These guys, it's like they've just been glued on to top 4, and you can't shake them off, even with their poor form. So they're still sitting there, a couple of points ahead of Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton, who all have games in hand. Newcastle win their games in hand. Simple, you're 4th. Liverpool, they win their game in hand. They're a match behind Spurs. And then Brighton as well. You can't turn them away. Either 48 points, they'd go level with Spurs if they win all 3. So the table at the top's heating up, boys. What's your kind of tip for 3rd and 4th? Because I think at the moment we're all thinking Arsenal and City, top 2, not sure of the order. What are you thinking about 3rd and 4th at this point in the season, Rob?
Yeah, look, I'm glad you actually bring this up because I wanted to go through some of these we haven't gone for a little bit of a prediction or a little bit of a forecasting quite a while, and it's very tight. It's very tight. Look, I agree with you for the first 2, which I think these first 2 have been like that nearly since day dot. To be honest, they've both been chasing each other. Well, everyone's nearly been chasing Arsenal, to be honest. But look, I am pretty still confident in my team for top 4. I'm not going to say we're going to lock in 3rd or 4th, but top 4, I'm pretty happy that I think we should make it. And for me, if we do make it, it's still a massive accomplishment. Still,
already got a trophy in the bag too.
A trophy in the bag, mate. A trophy in the bag which I really didn't think was going to happen. We've got that. If we can secure top 4 this season, in our first season, I'm absolutely wrapped with that. So yeah, I'm going to say we will get top 4. I don't know if it's 3rd or 4th, depending. A lot of things on injuries, on, just dying out in the arse because we've got played so many games. But it depends on, form. We could have a little bit of a drop-off. We could pick up again. I am going to say we're going to finish in the top 4. That 4th position, but, well, that really is up for grabs, man. Like we've said all for the past couple of weeks, I can't rule out Liverpool. But, again, obviously they had a cherry good. I mean, Bournemouth had a cherry good result. But yeah, look, I'm actually going to go. I still think Spurs are going to get fourth. I don't know why. I feel like they're like when you're a kid and you got that loose tooth and you want the tooth fairy to come, but it just won't come out. They just seem to be hanging on by a thread, and they've been there all year. I feel like they have 400 draws and a loss, then they have a good result, and they're still hanging in that top 4 area. So I still think they can get this over the line by some miracle.
RJ, I've had to scroll down a little bit so I could fit all of our teams in, but your team's in the picture now. I've put you on there. We saw Liverpool. They've gone from 7th heaven to crashing down to earth amongst the cherry trees. What about your team? You're in 10th. Do you see any kind of multiverse Doctor Strange scenario where Chelsea can make this top 4?
Sorry, I was just scrolling through to find Arsenal's last Premier League title. It took me a while.
Sound like a Liverpool fan. Move out of the.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not talking history. We're talking present.
No. Well, we're talking the present. Let's talk the present. Let's talk top 4 battle. And yeah, look, I hear your arguments. United, for me, yeah, they had a disappointing draw, but I've seen enough of them, not just in recent times, but the season overall. They're a lock, the dangerous lock. They're a lock in the top 4 for me. Might not be third. Might not be third, but definitely top 4. I think I'd be comfortable to put that on the record, not defense sitting RJ as normal, as some would say. But I find it dangerous just to throw out Liverpool. I know that resulting into cherries is another skid mark on their disappointing season.
I've said it the whole time.
But yeah, Brighton, I still think, look, to me, if they finish 5th, 6th is a massive achievement, all things considered, throughout the season. Fulham, again, you saw the result against Arsenal. It shows that they've still got some maturity to find themselves, but have been overachieving. And I do think that for Brentford, again, that's probably a bridge too far. So I think it's a 4-way battle between United through to Liverpool, the top 3-4. I'd probably say at this stage, Man United in, but
it's hard,
dangerous one here. I know. I feel like my heart wants to say Newcastle, but I've honestly got to say that I think that write Liverpool off at your own peril. I actually think that they're in this 4. It's scary. I know I don't want to say it, but I think Liverpool somehow scraped their way in.
I hope not.
You know what? For me,
I know.
Obviously, Manchester United are in there. I still could possibly see a scenario where they overtake City. I think United are on the right track. Losing Casemiro is going to hurt them. That red card, I'm sure we'll come to that soon. I'm going to go out on a limb, boys. I'm actually going to say that United will finish 3rd. I think Brighton are going to finish 4th. Something about Brighton, they've just got a lot of players at the moment who are cooking between Matoma, McAllister. Like they've got a team that's looking very, very sharp. They've even got like Welbs playing great football. So I think Brighton might be a bit of a dark horse, and I could see them taking 4th. Newcastle's attack seems to have stalled a little bit there, and the defense is now starting to leak. Liverpool, God bloody knows what's going on over there. I don't know how they could go from the 7-0 to this result against Bournemouth. Spurs are Spurs. And with all the stuff around Conte now, I don't see them taking 4th place. I just think there's too much stuff. Let's scroll down to the bottom half of the table. Relegation. Look at this, boys. This is still tight too. This is still super tight.
It's nearly from Crystal Palace down, nearly, honestly.
100% it could be. Crystal Palace could certainly be in the conversation. Let's just quick fire this one. Who are your 3 teams that are going down? Do you want me to go first to buy you time?
Oh, well, yeah, you go first this time, yep.
Okay. For me, lucky Davide's not here because I think Leeds are going down. I think Southampton are going down. And I still think Everton are going down. So they're my 3 teams that I'm saying will go down. What about you, Robbie?
Look, I said Southampton since my preview of the season. So I'm going to keep that locked in because I think that was a shout. Leeds, for me, I do think could go down. And I still think Bournemouth, might buckle right at the end. I think they're going to try their hardest. I just think Everton, like last year, it was like the last day of the year. That kind of, it was a big celebration just to stay in the Premier League. But if someone like a West Ham or Leicester go down, I think that'll be massive, crazy. But I think Bournemouth, Leeds, and Southampton, as it is there, I think they're going to struggle the most to get out.
RJ.
I think the bottom two as they are, in no particular order, and a smoky, Wolves. I don't know. I'm not convinced by them at the moment. I know that Newcastle got a narrow victory, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing with them at the moment. I know you could say that for most teams, but they're not smoky.
I like it. You know what I think about Wolves, so I'll be happy to see them go down.
All right. Look, then let's spend a bit of time looking at some of the results. We won't go too far down the rabbit hole of these. Obviously, Newcastle with a big 2-1 victory over Wolves, long overdue for Newcastle. They really, really needed those points. Again, as I said a moment ago, I am a little bit worried about their attack, but Miggy Almiron scoring again. He'd had a little bit of a mini drought. Alexander,
Great goal.
Isak as well. If they can get him scoring, or they can just have someone find a bit of goal scoring form, I think they'll be all right. Let's talk about your boys, though, Arch. Let's go to Chelsea. Super Potter, 3 wins. The goals are flowing now. His greatest magic trick of all was getting Kai Havertz to finish a chance. Talk to us about Chelsea. It's Potter in now, yeah? Potter, good vibes, happy. We're not going to fight anymore.
Never fighting, mate. We never fight. When have we fought online or in person about football?
I was fighting
never.
the other day.
We can't always flip-flop managers like you, Scott. But in all seriousness, Chelsea right in the wave at the moment, flying the blue flag. It's 3 wins on the bounce. We all heard the speculation with Graham Potter, which intensified 1 week ago, mind you. Results against Leeds and Dortmund could have been definitive for his Blues tenure. As it turned out, he's got 3 on the bounce, 1-0, 2-0, and 3-1 respectively. And like you said, Scott, I think there's an attraction that we were playing with and a bit of swagger over the past few games in terms of the chance creation, some of the conversion now, which has deserted us for most of the season, and just an all-round positive approach to our play. And I think that now we're slowly building some momentum. But I'm smart enough, old enough, bold enough to realize that football is very fickle. Things change very quickly. 1 week you're the worst manager, you're a detriment to the club, you're tanking us. Next week you're the potential savior and the one that's going to bring us our 3rd Champions League crown. So for me, it's all about just enjoying the moment for what it is. Don't look too far ahead, don't reflect too far back, but just continue to do the little things that we've been doing. And there's a lot of positivity breeding in. I want to highlight a couple of players. First and foremost, I think that defensively, I've been really impressed with the leadership of Koulibaly that's stepped up for Thiago Silva, the ageless Thiago Silva. I thought we were going to be in a lot more trouble without him. But between him, Kepa in the sticks, who has really held his own this season, probably doesn't get enough plaudits, made some cracking saves. He let a goal in at the weekend, but it was a fantastic shot as well, I thought. But I think him, Koulibaly, Wesley Fofana, he's slowed in now. He got his fitness back. He's been really strong. Ben Chilwell, who's arguably been our best player for the last few games. But Enzo Fernandez splashed a lot of money on this young talent, this World Cup winner. And for me, he's played basically every minute that he's been asked to since joining, and he's been effective. He's had the most passes. He's had the most chances created. He's contributed defensively. He's been very busy. He's acclimatized to the Premier League. And that assist for Kai Havertz.
Great ball.
Again, fantastic. It's a Fabregas-esque type of pass. And because we're not ready, and we all know Fabregas is a Chelsea legend and wanted to join you. And I was waiting for you to jump in here. But honestly, Enzo Fernandez, what a top player he is. And Kai Havertz, you know what? The guy who can't score and finish his breakfast has now scored 2 important goals in 2 games back-to-back.
And I'm sure Premier League defenses are shaking in their boots.
They are, mate. They are.
The thought of Timo Werner reincarnated, finally scoring 2 goals. Robbie, Chelsea, it's good vibes, yeah? Is there someone in this current Chelsea squad that you wish you could have at Manchester United?
Firstly, I'm gonna give them their credit where it's true, because I've been calling for weeks that when Chelsea get a win, I said 100 times, when they click or get a little bit of positivity or score a goal.
Positivity.
Yeah, I honestly think they're going to go on a little bit of a run. But look, one play you said then, and RJ took it out of my mouth. I actually do think Enzo Fernandez, he does look like a gem. We had about a month ago, we had the whole world classic discussion, which I think is great, and I think one day he could be a part of. And he is not world class yet, but I think he is a diamond in that Chelsea team. And I would happily like to have him. He's very composed on the ball. He plays with a lot of class. He's so. I don't know why. I feel like sometimes I get a Pirlo kind of sense of him. He's not Pirlo, but how calm he is. The way, he's got a really nice touch. Like, a few times I've seen that kind of little lob over the top for the striker for Kai Havertz. He's just very calm for such a young head, and very cool, calm.
And confident, Robbie, too.
Yes,
that's what
he
I
is.
said. Like, not only does he play the passes, but he always asks for the ball. He wants the responsibility.
Yeah,
he's always a forward-thinking player. Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, and like I said, I always, me, I call it how it is. And I remember when you guys signed him, everyone was talking, he's the best. He's been playing, he's been very consistent, and he's been very good. And I'll call it how it is. And mate, he's someone I would happily say come into our midfield, because I think he's a bonus for any team the way he's playing at the moment.
Well said. Good to see Mo back in the house. Mo, nice to see you, man. Emad, he'll be better than Pirlo, won't he? Everyone's G'ing me up. Everyone wants to fight with me these days. RJ and I were bluing about Fabregas the other day.
I was just pointing out some facts.
To come out and say Fabregas was a Chelsea legend.
Tell him what you first said, though. Scott's come out and said Fabregas was forced, like he was a held captive, hostage, forced to join Chelsea.
I said Fabregas it wasn't where he wanted to go. He wanted to come home. And the quotes came out from Fabregas that night.
Let me go get the popcorn.
It wasn't even a real quote.
Anyway, we saw that. And then Robbie and I were fighting the other night because he had this is what Emad's getting to. Robbie and I didn't talk for about 10 minutes because Robbie made the audacious comment that from what he's seen of Garnacho at his age, he's going to be a better player than Bukayo Saka. And Rob said that with chest and with confidence. So that's a ticket I'm going to hold for a while. And we'll come back to that. We'll talk about that another time. But I'm not going down the rabbit hole again. I want to talk about my team. Forget Chelsea. Forget 10th place. Let's talk about the teams in the spots that really matter. Top of the league, 5 points clear. I had bad feelings about this game. The boys will tell you. I was going on about it. I really, really felt uneasy because I know that Fulham can be a threat. But Arsenal came out and they got rid of those very quickly. From the first minutes of the last, we were the better team by far. We kept Fulham very quiet. Some other little narratives. Martinelli finding that goal-scoring form. It's been fantastic. He had a bit of a drought, but to see him banging in goals again and that rotation, it's no coincidence to me that with Eddie Nketiah out of the side, who did an okay job filling in for Jesus, better than I expected, Martinelli is now playing with a lot more freedom and a lot more confidence. He's drifting into the middle a little bit, and this has been the beauty of, for me, the best signing of the last window in terms of value and product, Trossard. He's been playing this kind of false nine position, swapping with the guys up front, and we've been a nightmare for defences because you don't know, is it Trossard up front? Is Martinelli drifting in? Is Saka cutting in? And Trossard's assists since he came in have been brilliant. We came out, we outplayed Fulham. Gabby Jesus back on the pitch at the end, should have scored, had a chance, we'll put it down to rust. But really good times, really good vibes, good times. So I want more of the same from my team. We now are in the position where every game is a cup final. We have to push because not just me, a lot of Arsenal fans have talked with a lot of chest. We know that if we buckle, if we bottle this, people are going to be gunning for us. Again, Arsenal, happy, brilliant. Arteta, the squad, everyone just looks in sync. We've got some big fixtures coming up, though, so let's see what happens with that. Did you catch any of our game, RJ?
I only really caught the extended highlights, Scott, but I suppose, look, I was surprised with the emphatic nature of the win.
Me too.
But you know what, with Fulham as well, what I'll say is that they've been overperforming a lot this season, and I think for a large part, they've been riding their luck to an extent too. So I think in this particular clash, it probably caught up with them a bit. But Arsenal, man, I think they've responded well after that last gasp, 15 minutes extra injury time goal to really put the nail in the coffin for poor Fulham. So, yeah, they look like a title-winning squad at the moment.
Yep. RJ, Robbie, any comments on that, mate?
Look, I think you guys wrapped it up pretty good. Obviously, our game was on at the same time, so I just had the notifications on this morning to check the goals. But, mate, that's what you want from your squad at the moment. 3-0 up at half time. Make changes. You guys have got a European game coming up midweek as well. Get the rotations happening. But yeah, look, you guys are on fire, mate. I told you the Premier League is yours to lose right now, and you guys have been consistently the best team all season. So.
And mate, we turned it on. We played some really just eye-watering, attractive football. The kind that you turn your head to look twice what was happening. There was really good football, but not every match is going to be like that in the run into the season. Emad, I hope you have bought your popcorn because we're about to get onto your team this morning. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Casemiro with a straight red card, so he's gone for 4 games, FA Cup and 3.
Will they appeal that though, Robbie? Have they appealed or?
I don't know. They haven't appealed nothing yet. Obviously, it's only
even if they do,
later.
are you confident that they'd overturn it this league?
I don't know. I really don't know. For me, a lot of people like that's a red card every day of the week. For me, I don't think it's as clear cut as that. I can see where it's a red. I don't think it was a clear and obvious error from the yellow card that the referee first made off the decision, which he was right in front of. I think he was in lucky. Again, there's no intent in the tackle. He's the 50-50 challenge. He's got the ball first. His ball and his studs up have rolled over the ball into the shin. For me, it's not a red card. I think if you play that in normal time and the VAR doesn't intertwine and they don't slow that down into stopping it where he's connected, I think that's fine. But look, that's my opinion. Call it biased or not, but I really think that it is a bit harsh. But yeah, look, he's a hard player, but he's a fair player, as Ten Hag said. But look, he put himself in that situation where a call had to be made. We got the red card. That was pretty early on in the game. I think it was around the 25th minute, to be honest. So look, at the end of the day, considering how crazy of a game this was, the draw, we have to say, is not a bad result considering 80% of the game we played with 10 men. Look, both teams created chances. You could probably even say Southampton maybe even created a little bit more. There was crossbars, there was posts, there was counterattacks, there was big saves. For me, but I am going to go hammer hard on the VAR on the penalty call because I don't care who you are. How that is not a penalty is honestly is a shocking call. It is a really game-changing call, and it's a big
You're talking the Rashford one with the goalkeeper making...
No, I'm not talking about the Rashford one. The Rashford one is a touch-and-go one. I'm talking about the one where he's handballed it. That is... Stop the goal. It's not even a handball, but he's on the floor handball, and it's stopping a clear goal-scoring opportunity. If he's not on the floor with his hand stopping that, it's pretty much a tap-in for Wout Weghorst. So for me... And you can't even, there's nothing you can even argue against that one because the crosses come 15, 20 meters away of the ball. It's not like one of those ones, he's smashed it at him and he was half a meter away and he's connected, he can't move. There's no way he's in a natural position. The guy's on all fours with his arms on the floor. And like I said, he's clearly stopping the goal scoring. So for me, the first call should have been a penalty. The harsh call should have been a penalty and a red card for stopping the goal scoring opportunity. So for me, shocking call.
RJ, I want to get your views on this in a sec, obviously, because it obviously was quite a controversial talking point. I just want to read something. I'm pretty sure this has come from the rule book. It says here, there will be no penalty if, then they've got a bunch of dot points. This one says, if a player is falling and the ball touches their hand/arm when it is between their body and the ground, but not extended to make the body bigger. His arms were, I thought, straight down on the ground. I wouldn't say he was falling. I'd say he had fallen.
Yep.
But I don't think he moved his arms
out. But he still stopped the goal-scoring opportunity. But
according to this, and this has come through Twitter, so you know Twitter's not always reliable, has said if a player's falling and the ball touches the hand or arm between their body and the ground, his arm technically was between the body and the ground. It was holding him up. I can see the frustration
Very fun. So if we all sit on the floor with our like in his position and the ball hits him, it's fine. It's just a free kick for the opposition. In other words,
Well, it's not a pen, according to this.
it's not a pen, so it's a free kick for the opposition that's doing the wrong thing.
I think it's what was the call this morning? It was nothing. It was play on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a free kick for them because they had to stop the play. Yeah,
accidental handball, keep going.
Yeah. Okay, and then that's the worst call. The Rashford one, there was contact. I don't think that was as bad that call because the ball was going away from goal. He's made a touch. He has connected, which we've seen penalties given. I'm not gonna cry about that one. But
subtle.
Very subtle. But there's so many calls, man. Like I said, so big calls change that game. And for us, like I said, I'm happy now with the 1-1 draw because we played with 10 men and we didn't concede to keep a clean sheet. I'll take that. But that 3 points opens up the back door for the top 4 race. You know, we have to look behind our shoulder a little bit, that where we should be. It's not to say we would have won that game, but it's a big opportunity to win the game. A penalty from the spot is a big, you know, you'd think a big high conversion rate of it happening. You know what I mean? Again, they created probably some of the better chance than us. David De Gea had to come up with 2 massive world-class saves, one on the counter attack. Very good saves. One was like a point-blank header he saved early on in the game as well. But, you know, moments like that change games, man. And like I said, if he didn't get – that was a yellow card right in front of the referee. If the VAR didn't get involved in that stage, we would have had 11 players. Who knows what would have happened? I'm not saying we would have won. We still could have lost. But it's big choices that there's VAR, and they're not consistent because the same video referee – 24 hours in that Chelsea game, I've seen 3 worse. I've seen nearly 2 or 3 red card situations in that game, and there was nothing done. He gets a yellow card, and then VAR comes in, which is not a clear and obvious mistake for me, and overturns it for a red card, which is now 4-game suspension. That's massive in our season.
RJ, there are obviously a few controversial calls. United fans all over social media were up in arms. And look, all fans of clubs do this. As people always come out that there's a conspiracy against their club. You know, I don't buy into the conspiracy theory crap, but what did you make of the controversial calls?
No, I thought, look, be honest with you, it annoyed me seeing Casemiro get a red and Pereira not get a red. Like, his one was worse on Felix. 100%. It happened early in the match, whatever, but that's a potential leg breaker. I do agree with Casemiro's was a red card. I still think, regardless of intent, it still goes within 4. So it goes over the ball and puts himself in a compromising position. But again, it's what Ten Hag has said. It's the inconsistency that's frustrating everybody. And the same with the handball. Look at Souček a few weeks ago when he handballed, blanketly saved it against Chelsea at the end.
Worse.
Well, he was falling and he extends his arm out, and he even laughed about it after the match. So credit to him. But again, United are copping the raw end of the stick here. And I don't know, man. Like, it's I don't know.
Where do you guys stand with the whole ball first then player? Because I'll use the Casemiro one because he did get the ball first. He won it, especially in fast motion. He got up and hold on. But later on in that game, in the same game, Garnacho goes to the thing. The guy wraps himself around him when he's running to the byline, gets the ball, takes him out. He ends up on crutches after the game. Donny van de Beek early in the season got a leg break from a challenge, and it wasn't a red card.
I think it's a dangerous thing to use the injury, an injury, to determine whether or not it should have been a red or not. I think the rules are there. Everyone's composition is different. Your physical structure, angles, your muscles. Like, a tackle that might be a leg breaker on me, someone might shake off. Like, I don't think we can go down the path, unless it's obviously an assault, where we justify cards based on injuries, because then I think you're only opening the door to more play acting and players pretending to go down. So I can't say that. But
I'm just saying, how can one go through one can get the ball and go for a player, but not the other way around?
Led, and Emads just took the words out of my mouth. He led with the studs up. Even though he led with the studs up into the ball first, if you're sliding with them studs up, as Emad says, you're asking for trouble. Had that just hit the ball, great, but it's bounced off the ball, and I think there was no intent. But again, I don't think the intent matters if it's that kind of contact. He stuttered him clearly, and I've seen worse ones that have been let go. I'm not saying I haven't.
And that's right. And that's the main problem, guys. It's the interpretation issue.
Inconsistency.
Like, again, use the Felix one example.
That was worse.
He's not even near the ball, and it's higher up the leg. So at what point, like, how can something that seems so obvious to the vast majority not be given by those in charge that are more experienced than the layperson? You know what I mean? I think the bigger problem is because we're debating the inconsistency, when some rules or intricacies of the rules override common sense, then there's a bigger problem here, that obviously the rules are not fit for purpose anymore. Because then the refs can hide behind all of these little safeguards and our interpretation of forceful versus negligent, all of that stuff. To the average fan, if you're going to do that, that opens up the potential for inconsistency. So I think it's really refs that are problem interpretation, number one. But number two, they are allowed to be inconsistent because of the way the rules have been written. So I think a lot of that needs to be addressed if the refs have got any chance of minimizing those interpretation issues.
And look, boys, it's not always black and white, Robbie, either. Like it's
I know.
They can't just. And I've whinged about this. I'm about to sound like a big hypocrite. I think that the rules need to be tightened, but you can't have completely closed rules. You've at times just got to read the situation and see what's in front of you too. I mean, say they change the rule to anytime the ball hits a hand, that's a handball. You could have situations where it is a completely innocent accidental handball and we're giving penalties and things. I want them tightened, but I just don't know how tight. That's a conversation that could take a whole other stream. Robbie, let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, in your wrap it up. In your opinion, both of you, was it a clear and obvious error?
Which one? Sorry,
I'm talking about the Casemiro one. So he's made the tackle. The referee has booked him, and then it was a mistake from the referee.
Yeah, and I think
so. Okay, no, actually,
but the handball, I definitely think that the handball was the stronger case. The red card for me was more legit to me.
I agree with you. Yeah, look. Plenty of Premier League madness. Obviously, Liverpool. Robbie, we'll let you quickly mention them. They had plenty of fun last week with the whole 7-up, 7-7. We all had plenty of fun. Liverpool gave us all a bit of a gift. But you can't go and do that against Manchester United, them rock up and drop points to Bournemouth. What the hell? That's peak Liverpool this season. Robbie, you want to just add a quick comment on Liverpool?
No, look, I'm obviously happy with the situation, especially the table. Obviously we drop points, they drop more points. We extend our lead over them by an extra point. But look, like you said, how do you go from one extent to another that bad? And look, I'm loving it. Everyone's going to laugh at them, how pumped up they pump their chest out. We're coming, and then they lose away. It just goes to show like they've been all season. RJ said it last week, Jekyll and Hyde. Mate, last week they kept the clean sheet and scored 7. This week they couldn't do nothing. Mo Salah's penalty still hitting Mars. And Van Dijk in their defense looks shaky as, mate, honestly. So, lap it up, mate. I hope it continues.
Right. Let's keep moving, boys. We've got some Champions League action this week. Forget about the first legs. I had this jersey ready for when Chelsea was slayed by Dortmund, but it was blackout for Dortmund because their Champions League campaign was finished. Let's have a look at these 4 fixtures. We've got City and Leipzig. That one is pegged down at 1-1. That's pegged down at 1-1. What's going to happen in this one, boys? Robbie?
What was that, the City one you said? Sorry,
City and Leipzig. Yeah, let's just do some quick fire.
Yep, all quick fire. Well, I actually called this a draw in Leipzig, but I do think City, surely they get through this. I'll go 2-0 City in Manchester.
Same with me.
Yeah.
All right. Look, yeah, I'm going City. I think they come through 2-0. Let's go with Porto and Inter. Your boys, RJ, Inter up 1-0. But that's not a great lead. What's going on?
It's not a great lead, but I think it'll be an important advantage. I do think we will get by. I think it will be 1-1 in the end, and we go through 2-1 on aggregate.
All right. What about you, Robbie?
Honestly, I'm doing it in Italian allegiance here. I actually want Inter, even though I hate them, to go through. But I reckon this could go into extra time.
Got to back your countrymen, Robbie. That's right.
Porto at home, I don't know why. I just know that they're really strong at home. I'm hoping Inter win. I just think there's going to be a 2-1. I think they're just going to edge a Porto. I really want Inter to go through, but just to clear that up with you.
Yeah, I'm going 1-1 in this game. I think Inter will go through. Have to say, Borche just sent me that Bruno penalty shout. Tell you what, that's probably the more obvious to me than the handball because, as Emad said, hands could have been natural. And yes, there was a Glazers out banner at halftime. There was a nice little one in the corner. Saw that. But let's move on. We've talked enough about United in the last couple of weeks. Real Madrid, Liverpool, boys, quite simply, can Liverpool overturn this? If they can put 7 goals past
Hala
United,
Madrid.
if they can put 7 past United, they can put goals past Madrid, but I don't know. This one seems a bit of a stretch. RJ?
I could see it's been a high-scoring affair, but I just can't see Liverpool not conceding anything here with the dangerous at-home Real Madrid. So, look, I actually see this being like a 3-2 kind of match, and I could see Liverpool winning, but yeah, Madrid could progress comfortably for me.
I would like Liverpool to go through, but I just don't think that they'll be able to keep the clean sheet. I could see them winning 3-1. But yeah, conceding, I think that'll be the problem.
Can I ask why you want Liverpool to go through, just to check your sanity? Why?
Well, look, the same reason Robbie would probably like Inter to go through. You want to see teams from the Premier League doing well, except Chelsea and Manchester United. I don't hate Liverpool. It's no secret. Arsenal and Liverpool fans have had some solidarity over the years. We've always had good footballing philosophies.
They love their history. They're very good.
Yeah.
We've always been trying to overcome you, Grub. So I would like to see Liverpool go through. And you guys know, for me, Kat Haddad, one of the GOATs, good friend of mine, I'd like them to win for her. She deserves it. But it's not going to happen. Robbie, they're going home, aren't they?
Oh, mate, pack their bags. I hope it's another 7-0 to Madrid. But you know what? I actually enjoy it more if it's like 3-0, whatever, or 3-1 to Liverpool.
Last minute heartbreak.
They're just heartbroken right on, like, oh, we nearly got there, but crash and burn.
Last minute Benzema bullet header or something.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Mate, I want to see it burn. That'll be the end of their season, mate. I don't think if they get out there and they're going to get top 4, I'm happy with that, mate. They've got nothing.
You're a horrible, horrible man, Robbie. Napoli and Frankfurt. Napoli 2-0. I think they'll cruise through. They're playing really good football. They're one of my dark horses of the competition. I don't think you can sleep on Napoli this season. Do you see anything other than Napoli going through, boys?
Mate, Napoli's going deep for me. Smoky again. I agree with you.
That's it. They're going deep past Frankfurt, man. That's for sure. Let's move on. Europe's premier competition, boys. The one that everybody is here for. The one that real legends play in. That's why Chelsea aren't in it. Sucked in, RJ.
Oh, back up, mate. Back up.
Yeah, that's right.
They might be there the next year.
I'm not a closet scouser. None of that talk, Emad. We're not going to go through all these. Let's just talk about our games, Robbie. Obviously, for you, you'll probably play the under-12s in this.
Yeah, look, I think we've done the job, like I said last week. If we got it done in Manchester, and I think we've done more than enough. If we get overturned, then we deserve to go out. So I think the boys go out. I still think you'll play a reasonable, strong team. Obviously, Casemiro will definitely start, as he won't be able to play the next 4 games, so Europe's fine for him. But I'm hoping a little bit of rotation. I can't see us losing this. If it's a draw, if it's a 1-0 loss, I think we go through.
RJ, confident, United, easy.
I don't know, Scott. I just got a tip that Anthony Taylor and Andre Marin are in the hot seat for this match, so this could go anyway, really. 4-0 Real Betis.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, dear. Look, we're pretty confident United will go through, right, boys? Obviously, let's talk about our game. There was some rotation against Sporting, but they also played a very good game. No disrespect to Sporting. They're a good team. They're certainly one of the strongest teams left in this competition when you look around, but I think we should have enough to get past them. If you asked me head, I would say Arsenal take this 2-1. If you ask me heart, I don't know if it's just because things are getting high stakes now. I've got a bad feeling. I've got a really bad feeling. I know I had a bad feeling about Fulham. But Sporting, if they can score first, I think they might knock us out of this, but I'm still going to go with an Arsenal win, 2-1 to the Gunners. Gabby Jesus to score. So, Robbie, what do you think is going to happen here? Arsenal or Sporting?
Even though I thought you guys were the better in thing, I think you guys were really lucky with that own goal. I think that would have bring a lot of confidence for them coming back to London with a 2-1 win. But look, I can't say anything but a win at home, especially at 2-2. It's pretty much 0-0, clean slate. I see you guys advancing at home.
RJ?
Yeah, they not steamroll, but they steam ahead, I think. 2-0.
Yeah.
There we go. Emad. Boyd saying he could see Roma winning it.
Roma, yeah, look, I think Roma can go deep. That was a big result, 2-0 against Real Salty there, which is another big team.
Yeah.
Well, not a big team, but another smoky. But a few good teams left. Roma, obviously, Juve is still there. They've got a 1-0 edge, so I'm hoping they go away and progress through as well. So some really good teams if you look, man.
Absolutely.
Scott, did you see that Chelsea actually beat Dortmund to break their unbeaten streak in 2023? The most informed team, equal tie with Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. I just wanted to see if you saw that.
I did like Bellingham's comments at the end. I could
What
resonate.
a salty sore loser.
I don't blame him. There were some calls. Tell you what.
Yeah, I know. How good were they?
Not going down that rabbit hole again either. But I will say, I'm telling you, boys,
they're quite lucky, aren't they?
Watch out for Chelsea, mate. We called this the last time they won. Watch out I'm telling you, watch out for Chelsea, because if they click, and I'm not being disrespectful, if they get a nicer draw, like we seen last time, as soon as we seen that pattern to the final last time, they beat the teams, but we caught it straight away when we seen it. They're going to make the Champions League final and win it, and it happened. You and me caught it. I cannot, and I will not count them out.
Nah, I'm counting him out. There's no chance this year.
Tell me who's going to win it, because I can't see a clear-cut team right now.
Any team not coached by Graham Fraud Potter.
Wow.
No, I hope that doesn't come back.
I can't wait. Clip it, won't you? Clip that moment.
Lock it in, clip it, put it on a billboard. Chelsea are not winning this season's Champions League. No chance. Wow. Spend all the money you want. Uncle Todd can go and buy half of Europe again. But that doesn't make you a team, mate. All you've got to do is look at the Arsenal, look at the project, look at the process, look at the unity. You're not winning anything, mate. You're going to copy Dortmund. It's going to be blackout for Chelsea's Champions League soon enough. And I'm here for it. I can't wait. I'll be drinking your tears that night.
I can see the steam coming out of RJ's.
Yeah. Look at this, Scott. You'll never get to see it up close, my friend.
Yeah,
You'll never see that.
Don't stress. My son's got one that looks like that. He got it from a chocolate Easter egg. Let's move on, boys. Let's move on. We've had a good stream. We've talked Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, United. We've talked controversy, VAR. It's been plenty of conversation. So if you just come in late, make sure you go back, check it out. Let us know who's going to win the top 4 spots. Let us know in the comments, or even the relegation. So we would love to hear from you. Keep an eye on the channel on Wednesday. We are going to be having another Wednesday discussion/debate. This week we're going to be looking at which 1 or 2 players would you take right now to make your team title favourites. So any 2 players, and we're going to try and keep that quite realistic. So we're not going to say, Ronaldo and Thierry Henry back when he was young. We're talking right now, current football. Who would you take to make your team the title favourites? Here's a spoiler alert. Chelsea and Uncle Todd have already put a bid in for all those players we're going to mention. But that will be dropping on Wednesday, so make sure you check it out. We keep it short. We keep it sharp. 15 minutes, and you'll have a great time. Boys, any closing comments?
No, look, I enjoyed that one tonight, boys. So thank you to everyone, to the live chat, and we'll see you again next week.
Arj?
Up to Chelsea, 3 in a row.
Yeah, right up the Chelsea, that's for sure. Take care. See you back on Wednesday.